Now that we've defined what a function is, we want to look at a particular class of functions called linear functions. So a linear equation can be written in two variables, usually y and x, and it can be the form that we see constantly as y equals mx plus b. And in this case, we'll discuss that later, but b is a constant and m is a constant, meaning they're numbers. All right. Linear functions, when graphed, form a line and have a constant rate of change. Again, we'll be discussing that more later on as we go along. Nonlinear functions um, don't have a constant rate of change, so they don't form a line. Okay, the example A is called a parabola. This is the type of shape that you get from quadratic functions or something that has a square in it. Okay, that's nonlinear. Example B, of course, is a line, so it is linear. By the way, notice that the definition says a non-vertical line. And we'll talk about that later on in this section, in this chapter, of why that's important. So, just looking for a line on a graph. When we see a table, we want to see that there's a constant rate of change. So what I'm going to do on the table is I'm going to go from 3 to 6 is 3 units, from 6 to 9 is 3 units, from 9 to 12 is 3 units. So it's adding 3 to the input each time, and our output is minus 6, minus 6, minus 6. So we could say if this went on to 15, that the output would be 12, and it would continue to decrease. That is a linear function. So that is linear. We look at the other table here. We add 2. We add 2. We add 2. But here on the bottom, we're adding 7. We're adding 11. And we're adding 15. So that is actually going up by an increase of 4 each time. So that is not a constant rate change. That's not a linear function. So this is nonlinear. When we look at equations, we're going to look for some structure. We're going to look for some things that are in there. First off, y equals 3.8. Basically, that's going to be a horizontal line. Remember, any line that's non-vertical is a linear function, so y equals 3.8 is linear. Y is equal to the square root of x. Let's say we put in 4 for x. We know the square root of 4 is 2, so we're going to use our perfect squares. I can go back and I can put 1 and 1, and then I can put 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. And we see that we're going up on y values by 3, 5, while our x values are going up 1. That's nonlinear. Y is equal to 3 to the x exponent. So let's substitute some numbers in here. Let's say we put 0 in for x. Our y value will be 1. Remember that anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Now let's go ahead and let's substitute 1 in for x. We're going to get 3. Let's substitute 2 in for x. 3 squared is 9. our x values are going up by 1, our outputs are going up increasingly more numbers. That's nonlinear. All right, let's look at this next one. We have y is equal to 6 times x minus 1. Again, let's put 0 in for x. 6 times negative 1 is going to be negative 6. Let's put 1 in for x. 6 times 0 is going to be 0. Let's put 2 in for x. So we see that our x values are going up by 1. Our y values are adding 6 each time. That is linear because it's the same amount. And finally, we'll look at, I'm going to solve this so it's y equals x squared. So let's put 0 in for x. I'm just going to do a table here. X, y, 0, we get 0. 1, I get 1. 2, I get 4. 3, I get 9. So our x values are going up by 1. Our y values go up by 1, 3, 5. This is nonlinear. All right, just to review what we talked about. If you have input-output tables, you're looking for the x values only having one y value. Any x values that are repeated automatically will not be a function. And output is 3 more than the input. That's just multiplying whatever you put in by 3, or adding 3. And that's the equation y equal x plus 3. You see in the graph that you have a constant rate of change. All right, we mentioned in section 3.1 that there's discrete and continuous domains, meaning the numbers in between 1 and 5 and on the continuous graph, those are part of the solution. Only the numbers 1 through 5 in the discrete graph are part of the solution or part of the inputs. A good way to think about this is a discrete domain is something you buy, like a t-shirt. You really don't buy a half a t-shirt. You buy one t-shirt, you buy 2 t-shirts, you buy 3 t-shirts. There's no in between. Okay? And then think of a continuous domain as you're pumping gas, and you start and you press down on the gas pump, and the price of your gas begins to change automatically even though you don't have a full gallon. It's changing by the amount of the gallon you've got in there. So here we're looking at an example number 4. It says the linear function y equals 15.95x. Y equals 15.95x represents the y in dollars of x tickets for a museum. Each customer can buy only a max of 4 tickets. So we want to find the domain of the function. Okay, does it make sense to buy a half a ticket to the museum? No. So our domain is going to be, a person can buy no tickets, they can buy 1 ticket, they can buy 2 tickets, they can buy 3 tickets. The max they can buy is 4 tickets. So our domain is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it discrete or continuous? We talked about it being discrete. And then it wants us to graph the function. And we're going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 is going to be 0 tickets is $0. 1595, and then another 1595, which would be 31 something, and you would just multiply out and get your values multiplying as you go. All right. Lastly, we have a cereal bar that contains 130 calories. The number of calories consumed is a function of the number of bars eaten. Does this representation represent a linear function? Well, if you eat one bar, you're going to eat 130. You're going to get 130 calories. If you have two bars, you're going to have 260 calories. So yes, it does represent a linear function because each bar is going to add the same amount of calories. Find the domain of the function. Okay, so if I take a bite of that bar, I'm consuming calories with each bite I take. So the domain is going to be all positive numbers, all um, real numbers. Actually, trying to think how I really should say this. I'm just going to write it as a inequality. Our x values are going to be greater than or equal to 0. So anything above 0 is going to be the domain. Okay, so is it discrete or continuous? Yes, it's continuous. So if I look here and I want to graph this, number of bars, calories, again we start at 0, 1, 2. So 0 bars, 0 calories, and then we're going to have a straight line up here to 130. That straight line would continue out till we get 2 is equal to 260 and so forth.